one more pizza party coming in May, so that's good. And I see Mr. Straley has stepped in if everybody wants to give away. Mr. Straley is our superintendent, in case you don't know. But today he's actually here as dad, which is kind of fun for him, I think. All right. Miss Alton, can you hear and see well enough over there? Okay. So Mr. Jordan is going to be our first presenter today. And Cole's interested in structural engineering, has a pretty interesting agenda, so you can knock this off the side. You're good. Ready to go? Take it.
Good morning. Thank you for coming. My name is Jordan, and my project was on structural engineering. I got into this topic, when I was talking to my dad over the summer about possible internship opportunities, and he knew that I was interested in math and structures. I've always been good at math, and I've always had interest in it. So, and then also structures, I've always actually liked building my Lego sets more than actually like playing with them as a kid. And in middle school, I had a competition that I participated in which I built a windmill that had to lift as much weight as possible, and our team's windmill lifted the most weight, and we got first place. So ever since this couple of things have happened, I've always been interested in structures and math. So he mentioned structural engineering, and I thought that was the perfect topic. So he helped me find contact information for a structural engineer at Flintstone, and I sent him an email asking about a possible internship opportunity, and they emailed me back pretty quickly and told me that I could come and shadow them on the job. For my internship, my mentors were Mike Lely and Brandon Cole, who are both structural engineers at Flintstone. My opportunity I had with them was to shadow them and find out about what the daily life of a structural engineer is like and what their responsibilities include. I had the opportunity to go on two different kinds of inspections. The first is a overview inspection where you're just looking at the exterior and the framework and structure of the conveyors and the equipment at the plant. During that kind of inspection, they don't have to shut the plant down. They can keep all the belts and crushers going while we were there. During the other kind of inspection, it serves two purposes. The first purpose is a follow-up to the first inspection to see what they've already completed and to see if the most important things have been have already been done. The other purpose is to take a more in-depth look at certain structures, such as material transfers and material bins and material silos. Normally these are full of stone and you can't see them in the other kind of inspection. So for this kind of inspection, they have to completely shut down that part of the plant and empty these containers so that you go inside and look at them. This picture is actually from the inside of one of those bins. This is a brace that goes across the corners. There's around all four corners, but this one has actually rusted and sheared all the way through. So this should be helping hold the bin together so it doesn't collapse and injure someone. But right now it's serving zero purpose. So this would have gone at the top of the list of things that need to get done. This would have been something they need to fix before they can continue operations with this bin in use. My community service, I want to use what I learned from my internship and apply it to my community service. So I decided to do my community service at Moss Knuckles Elementary School with a group of OM students. My co-coach that I was working with was Denise Clapper, and she actually, one of her son was on the team, and she's also done Odyssey of the Mind competitions in the past, but she had never done any that were of this kind, which is structural and vehicular problem. Our time went from the beginning of November when we started our competition was the first Saturday of March, which was March 4th, when we finished. During this time period, we had about 10 to 15 meetings. During these meetings, my responsibilities included I had them split into 2 teams of 3, and I just gave them 3 sheets of paper and about 6 inches of tape and some scissors, and I had them try to build the tallest possible structure in the time period. And as soon as they started, both of them just tried to build as tall as they could without any shared stability at all. And by the time they finished, their structures couldn't stand on their own at all. So after that, I went over stability with them and some designs to give their structures stability, and had them go through the competition again. And this time, their structures were just as tall, but they actually could stand on their own and had a fairly good amount of stability. During the competition, it was actually here at the high school. They had kind of a rough start because we didn't account for the amount of time it would take them to set up. So they didn't have as much time that they needed to present the rest of their project. But afterwards, the judges were able to come over and look at everything they had, and they realized that they actually did, they liked what they saw, and during spontaneous problems, they did really well, and our team actually ended up finishing second place. My research paper was about finding a solution or a plan of action for the deficient infrastructure in the United States. I got into this topic when I heard about the Minnesota bridge collapse several years ago. That resulted in several fatalities. I wanted to see if that was an isolated incident or if that was a common problem that we have in the United States. I found that it's a fairly common problem. In the United States, there are actually over 83,000 deficient bridges that are age 50 or older. So age is a large factor in why we have so many deficiencies. A lot of these bridges that are of this age or older are actually the major bridges in this country, such as some of the bridges that come out of New York City are very large, but they're also nearing 100 years old at this point. And when they were designed by the engineers originally, they weren't designed to last this long without any major renovations. Another problem that we have is the wear on the bridges from cars and their daily activities. In 1930, when these bridges were built during the Great Depression, they built them in mind with how many cars were on the road at that time. But now that we're in 2017, we have a significant greater amount of cars, and they cause more wear on the bridges than we originally designed the bridges for. My proposed solutions for this were to update the building code and standards for engineers who are designing bridges and other infrastructure in the United States. Currently, there's a lot of new technology out there, such as sensors that you can place on bridges that will alert you when a bridge gets past a certain point of deterioration. But those aren't used on a lot of bridges because it is not required by the building code. So if we updated it to require more technology and better materials to be used and have less problems with our infrastructure. Another solution I proposed is actually using technology such as steel wires and beams that actually go across the top of the columns, such as these ones. So right now this column is supporting the roof and all the way above it. But if this column were to be moved or was to fail due to an explosion or an earthquake of some kind, then there would be nothing for the roof to collapse in. But if you put the steel wires across the top of the column and span it from this column to the wall or to the other column, then if this one were to collapse, the weight would be distributed to the other ones, and the roof wouldn't collapse, and everyone would be able to safely leave when they were to come back and able to stabilize that with that problem. So those are my proposed solutions to fixing our problem with our infrastructure in the United States. The personal impact of this, I learned through my internship with Mike and Brandon that it's really important. Safety is a really important aspect of this job. What we're doing in this picture is these are actually all the switches for the conveyors and crushers in this part of the plant. And they're putting locks on each of them so that they can't be flipped on while we're up there and injure someone. Also serves the dual purpose of each of these locks is a different color. So this one down here is blue and this one up here is orange. So this would have been one person and this would have been the other person. And that lets you know that if someone goes in there and they see one kind of lock still on them, they all know that someone's still up there after you come down, and they can go search for that person if something happens to them. I didn't realize that there was this much safety that goes into being a structural engineer. That's definitely something that came away from my project in plans. I plan to go to BJordan Community College. They have a electrical and computer engineering associate's degree there. So I'm going to plan to get that. And then I'll try to get an internship with Blackstone that summer. And often their internships will turn into a full-time job when the summer's over. And Blackstone actually offers to send their employees back to finish their bachelor's, master's, and even in one case, they've actually sent someone back to finish their PhD. So, and they also offer time off work to be able to do that. So I would take advantage of that program to be able to go back and finish my degree. I'd like to say thank you to my mentors, Mr. McLean and Mr. Branicle. I'd also like to say thank you to Jack Witz. I really could not have gotten to this project without him. Any questions?
So, how many of these bridges that are historically significant have actually been renovated? Is one of the impediments to their renovation that they have been around for so long?
I don't know the exact number, but I know that it's not many because a lot of these bridges receive a large amount of traffic. It's very difficult for them to shut them down and be able to do the major kind of renovations that they need to completely, redo the bridge. I mean, certain kinds of renovation they can do is they can rip up the deck of it and redo that while shutting down the other half. But like the structures that support it, the columns, they can't quite replace. They would have to shut down the entire bridge. And the bridge is coming out of New York, receives so much traffic that that wouldn't be possible to completely shut them down to make that kind of renovation.
How old was the bridge in Minnesota that collapsed? Do you know?
So light collapse.
No, how old was it?
How old was it? I'm not sure of the age of that one actually. I know it collapsed because of part of it failed that received a lot of rust. So I know it must have been some rust.
Sure.
In terms of thinking about infrastructure repair, one of the biggest issues really is commitment in terms of financial commitment.
Yeah.
What do you think? Did you come across anything that you think would help to promote that cause and help to make that more of a priority in terms of state and national funding?
I did find that there have been some faulty methods in estimating the amount of money that they dedicate to repairing infrastructure. They say that the amount of money that they provide is actually more like a concave curve, and they provide more money at first and less as the bridge goes along. But the actual opposite is required of that. They need more money, needs less money early on, more later on in its lifetime. So probably bringing awareness to that would be the issue. I've also noticed that President Trump right now is actually trying to pass legislation to get the infrastructure repaired, but as of now, it's not really going to happen.
So going back to the money thing, so for instance, your column, if we were to put the wire webbing in there from column, is there, do you know what the percentage increase would be in cost to do that, or do you have that information?
I don't have that.
Okay. That's good. Gotcha. Okay. I just wondering.
The Luckstone,
Yes.
the evaluation, where they found the degraded beam that had snapped.
Yes.
Did that lead to them looking other places for the same issue?
Well, at that point, we actually looked through all the vents, so we did look everywhere to see if that was a problem. That was the only place we found it,